I have been sharing Dr. Shauna's 5-part series in how people demonize the poor. This is the 5th of her 5-part series, so go ahead and give it a watch.
ET benefits need to go back to basics. They were created to help people get by, not live a life of luxury on the taxpayer's dime.
What if the system was never about getting you by, but it was instead built to turn a profit? Let's go to the research. Hi, I'm Dr. Shauna, a PhD who does hot takes with citations, and this is part 5 of 5, the last in the series on why we blame the poor. So today, I want us to follow the money a little bit. We've talked about how a lot of people, including this creator that I've stitched, like to think about poverty as punishment. They also talk about poverty as bad decisions or laziness and some sort of indication of moral failure. But researcher Virginia Eubank shows us the ways that it's actually data management. Now, in her book, Automating Inequality, she followed the rollout of high-tech systems that now decide who's high risk for welfare fraud, who gets housing, and who's flagged for investigation. And there are some big players in this game. The state of Indiana, for example, paid IBM and Accenture $1.3 billion to automate their welfare eligibility system, until thousands of families were wrongfully cut off for failure to cooperate. Which means that the system set up to serve these families failed the ones who needed it the most. Now we need to talk about neoliberal paternalism, which comes from political science, which is a fancy way of saying that poor people don't just need support, they need discipline, which is why our modern welfare programs are structured around this idea of compliance over care. It's full of work requirements, surveillance, drug tests, and reviews, which ultimately doesn't reduce inequality, instead it shapes the behavior of the people involved in the system. So instead of a safety net, we now have this giant maze of bureaucracy and private contractors that are profiting off of the people that they're being paid to help. So all of these different moral stories, the things that we've looked at throughout this series, they work together to uphold this system from which a lot of people are profiting. And the reason why those stories often go unchallenged and they can continue to multiply is because they make the exploitation of people look fair, and they make the companies turning a profit look like they're virtuous. Thank you for watching this series on why we blame the poor. Follow for more hot takes with citations, and if you have ideas for other content you'd like to see, please leave it below in the comments.
It's time for our daily dose of cope, and we have Chi-Chi Kachiyama at the correspondence desk. The face that she's eating is saying, "It wasn't supposed to be my face." Oh my God, there are so many stories to get to, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So we know that these coal miners voted for Donald Trump, and now they are suffocating because of his policies. So it says, deep in Trump country, coal miners with black lung say government is suffocating the working man. Lisa Emery loves to talk about her boys. With each word, the respiratory therapist's face softens and shines with pride. But keep her talking, and it doesn't take long for that passion to switch to hurt. She knows the names, ages, families, and the intimate stories of each one's scarred lungs. She worries about a whole community of West Virginia coal miners, including a growing number in their 30s and 40s, who come to her for help while getting sicker and sicker from what used to be considered an old-timer's disease, black lung. "I love these guys," she says, wiping away tears. "I tell them every single one of y'all that sits down in that chair is why I feel like I was put on this earth." As director of the New River Health Association Black Lung Clinic, Emery's seeing guys as young as 45 getting double lung transplants as disease rates soar among miners forced to dig through more rock filled with deadly silica to reach the remaining coal. Far worse than the dust their grandfathers inhaled. A rule approved last year by the U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration would cut the federal limit for allowable respirable crystalline silica dust exposure by half to protect miners of all types nationwide from the current driving force of black lung and other illnesses. But now it's in jeopardy amid other Trump administration cutbacks and proposals targeting workers' health and safety guardrails. Stuck in a politically charged environment that promotes industry, with lawmakers arguing to change it and the federal agency that wrote the rule not pushing to enforce it. Some angry retired miners with black lung are fighting back, demanding that President Donald Trump honor promises he made to the people who voted him in. The opposition comes months after Trump signed executive orders to allow coal-fired plants to pollute more and to streamline the permitting process and open up new areas for mineral production, including oil and natural gas drilling and mining of beautiful, clean coal. He was celebrated at the White House by smiling miners in hard hats, including some with West Virginia stickers, as he promised to put more people to work underground. One thing I learned about the coal miners, that's what they want to do, Trump said. You can give them a penthouse on Fifth Avenue in a different kind of job, and they'd be unhappy. They want to mine coal. And she's pointing out that this is what black lung looks like. Your lungs should not be black, like in this picture. But since his inauguration in January, a volley of firings, department eliminations, and proposed regulation rollbacks have targeted hard-won health and safety protections fought for over decades to safeguard coal miners and other working-class folks. The silica rule was delayed in April after industry groups suing the government filed an emergency request in court to block it from taking effect, citing costs and difficulties implementing it. Around the same time, the Trump administration told nearly all employees at the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, or OSHA, that their jobs were being cut. That included those running a congressionally mandated surveillance program that certified black lung cases. Loud public uproar and bipartisan criticism followed, and a fraction of the agency's positions were reinstated. That came only after a West Virginia coal miner diagnosed with black lung sued. A federal judge in that case issued a preliminary injunction ordering the government to bring back the respiratory division workers at NIOSH. This picture right here is exactly how Donald Trump springs into action to help the miners in West Virginia. All of those people that voted for him with black lung, this is how he springs into action to help them. Donald Trump and the GOP, they told us that they are making America affordable again. Now we have Jackie. Jackie is tagging the press secretary. She says, "We are 2 retired seniors, lost our savings to pay for hubby's stroke, back surgery, 3 knee surgeries, with the last may well be a total replacement, all within 2 years. I have health issues. Nothing is lower. Gas here in Ohio is $3.15. Groceries are so high we had to cut buying meat as it is so expensive. Get out in the real world and go to a grocery store. We will always back President Trump, but his administration is full of liars, especially you." You see how she will not say that Trump is a liar. She is squarely pointing the finger at the press secretary, not Donald Trump. Even though he said, "I don't want to hear about the affordability." He doesn't give a good goddamn about Jackie and all their health issues or anything. He springs into action for poor MAGA, unhealthy MAGA, just like he sprung into action with Gordon on the floor here. Now we have Ryan out of Oklahoma. He said, "I voted for Trump and 100% believe what he is doing, maybe believe in what he's doing. But at the same time, I keep reading people saying, if you're on SNAP for more than a year, then you need to get a job. I agree, but I've been trying to find a simple fast food job here in Sapulpa. Keep in mind, I don't have a car, so I'm willing to walk an hour to Walmart. I have once, and I thought I was going to pass out when I got there. But with that said, I've tried Arby's, Sonic, Church's Chicken, and Taco Bueno. My work background is only general labor. If anyone can help me fake a resume to get one of these jobs, I would be very grateful. God bless." Because many of these poor states, they don't have high-paying jobs. They don't have many jobs. And in Oklahoma, where I'm from, you actually do need a car to get around. But if you don't have a job, how are you going to pay for a car? If you don't have a job, how are you going to pay for gas? It's like the chicken and the egg. But these people voted for this man. They voted for him because, this is what Republicans do. So we all love these, how it started, how it's going. This one's titled, "Trump voter who cheered Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis, now furious that his Obamacare premiums went up." So here we have Daniel basically celebrating Joe Biden getting cancer. He says, karma, MFer, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. That's how he feels? Okay, cool. All right, so how it's going. Let's start at the bottom because this is October 7th. He's talking to Donald Trump and all of these. He says, after 60 years on this earth in a lifelong Republican, I'm sick to my effing stomach. This country is losing respect. We're losing our liberty. We're losing our jobs. We're losing our health care. I didn't like Obamacare, but it's the only insurance I could get. Now I'm losing that. With all that said, I'm starting to lose respect for you, Donald Trump. You better fix this. You said you would. A man is only as good as his word. Thanks for your attention to this matter. Then, now we have him in November. He says, what are you going to do without your health insurance? Oh, yeah, you're super rich and you don't have to worry about it. I give you 20 days to fix it, or I'm leaving the Republican Party. I voted for you 3 times. I'm just a little man in a big man's world. And then he does all these angry emojis. And then he says, I just got my Better renewal today. My insurance premium went up $500 effing dollars. I voted for you 3 times. Fix this. Fix it now. The Republican Party is leaving me, letting me down. Can't take it no more. I've talked about this. Their insurance premium, well, everybody's insurance premiums are doubling and tripling. People can't afford this. People can't afford groceries. People can't afford basics. People can't afford gas. People can't afford a new car if their car breaks down, all because of Donald Trump. But more of these people need to get this angry because some of them are still living in Delulu land. They are still supporting him no matter what. A couple of the comments underneath this post, this first one from More Motivation says, that 20-day ultimatum he gave Trump is hilarious AF. He will definitely be voting for Trump and the GOP at every chance he gets. And then Up, Up, Down, Down says, hey, got to give a guy a 10th chance to deliver on his promises, right? And then The Sheriff is Nearer says, no one lies to him 20 times in a row. And then at the bottom, File Doesn't Exist says, these are the same people that wonder why people don't just leave their abusers. Absolutely. Donald Trump keeps lying to these people. Poor MAGA, unhealthy MAGA. All of these MAGAs keep voting for him regardless, even as he springs into action like the leader he really is. We got another how it started, how it's going. We have a blogger, a black MAGA. So back in November, towards the top, he says, come on, FAFO. We the people elected Donald Trump. This is not a threat, but you all don't want to make us angry. We've been putting up with you all since 2015. FAFO. And then right here, AG Gold says, in words for Trump here, that's what he's calling himself. That's gross. He says, you all have been attacking us since 2015. I want unity. But at the same time, I look at all the stuff you all not only done to President Trump, but to all his supporters like me and my family. At this point, I'm on the verge of saying F you all, but I'm not going to do that yet. So stop crying and let's try to get along. And he's talking to someone named Dory, saying the billionaires have taken over Trump, not the other way around. You are in for a rude awakening. Get to know Project 2025. Scary stuff. He said, I actually read Project 2025. Unfortunately, Trump won't be implementing it, but his vision is far better. I hope he will look at it though. What is his vision? What is Donald Trump's vision? What exactly was he pushing for outside of making it? You know what? Never mind. We know that he didn't really have a vision. How it's going. Here's AG Gold saying, Dear President Trump, this is the head of a foreign government openly declaring that he intends to propagandize my children and other American citizens. I did not endure 10 years of hell for this. I lost nearly all my friends. I lost my job. My cars and home were vandalized. Strangers screaming at me in front of my children. I had objects thrown at me while driving. I have received countless death threats, all because I stood up and supported you. And now, after all that, I see this man welcomed here to treat American citizens in such a way. President Trump, I believe in you. I stood with you and I stand with you now. I voted for 3 times you because I voted for America first. I did not vote for a foreign government to manipulate the American people. I urge you to put an end to this. And he tagged Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. What is These people are very, very interesting. This post right here is the reason why I will continue to say that these people need to feel it for 3 to 7 years. So this person says, sorry, Trump, you lost me, dude. Told you when your BS affected my life and my family's life. That would be it. I voted for you 3 times because you supported small businesses in your first term. And when I owned one, I got the tax breaks that benefited said business. Basically, it benefited me. This benefited me. But then he says, oh, don't worry, I ain't switching sides. I'm staying independent just like I've been for the last 20 plus years once I realized political parties are a joke. I still don't like Elizabeth Warren, AOC the uneducated bartender and her squad pals, crazy sellout Bernie, drunken Nancy, Bill the Predator and his witch of a wife Hillary and Chuck Schumer. All you old millionaires can kiss my 2% black, 97% Caucasian behind. So 2 plus 97 equals 99. Okay, cool. Socialists and communists can still kiss my butt too. You all should be impeached and fired. Oh, and so-called Republicans Lindsey Graham and Governor McMasturbate. I don't know who Governor McMasturbate is, but okay. You're 2 of the worst things to ever happen to South Carolina. Who is that? Who is McMasturbate? Let's tell it like it is. Y'all killed so many small businesses during that pandemic farce. It was pathetic. If anyone thinks the government, federal or state, gives 2 squirts about you, then you're truly deluded. It's a big party up there. We're not invited. So I don't know who he's going to vote for, but he's not voting for any of these people. Now we have Danny. Danny says, I voted for Trump 3 times, and I'm starting to regret my vote last November. Trump is Israel first, not America. Christine says he's still better than Kamala. And then Jessica says, exactly. And the Dem party. And this is the thing. This is the reason why they're going to stick and stay with him, no matter how it goes in their state, in their city. If people lose all their jobs, if farmers can't find buyers for their product, if people lose their SNAP benefits, they are still going to stick and stay. And finally, we have Michael Lee Earl. He says, I voted for Trump. I see this. As he's resolved all the problems of the Middle East, he has yet to resolve the problems in his own backyard, President Trump. Please put your foot down in this. I'm 1.5 years with no income, yet paid into Social Security 40 plus years. Can you help me? Income yet paid. And I don't know what this is supposed to be right here. I think he might have stroked out a little bit. I don't know. But basically, he's asking for some help. Trump is on the job, though. He is running to handle things and get things done, as seen in these pictures here.